we got a one battery tray out. Wound up having to drill a whole bunch of these spot welds, except for the ones I couldn't really drill out, but they were all rusted out anyways. So, you know, whatever. That thing right there has, I believe, seen better days. I think the rust has taken over the battery tray. So, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. It shouldn't be too bad. You can kind of see a little wavy from me beating on it a little bit, but I'll straighten it all up. It's not a crazy ordeal right there. So it's pretty straightforward to get that back level again and cut out some of that rot right there. The bottom side looks pretty good. This side up here, I think most of this is probably surface rust. This actually feels really solid right here. I think really the rot is just like right in this area right here. So I just need a little piece of steel. I don't need a whole lot. Oh, we're making some progress. Check this out. I'm about to cut this rot out of here. But now you can actually kind of see what the seams look like, and everything is still welded. There's no rot around any of the welds. I've gotten on most of the seam sealer that I can get out. Look at that huge hole that just has a bunch of seam sealer over it from the factory. That's pretty wild, but everything looks good. There's a couple of stitch welds right there. All this is spot welded, looks good. That's where the old battery tray was, and I've gotten that back as close as I could get it. I mean, it's good enough for what I want to do here, and I just need to kind of weld up some of these little holes where it pulled out, and I got to cut this middle section out right here. And I've got a piece. I went and picked up a little piece of steel earlier from the big box store, so I'm gonna cut that out and cut it to fit in here and weld it in nice and strong, and yeah, should be pretty freaking good. All right, I'm making some progress here. I have made a decision here to make a little change on this, because the factory, the way this was factory, it had like an indentation to it. I guess you can probably see from the original battery tray here. You can see it has like it's kind of like a scoop to it. So with it being that way, it kind of holds water, and that's, I believe, to me, that's the reason why it's rusted through. Number one, because it probably had battery acid on it, and that kind of sped up the rot process. But number two, that water and all really had nowhere to go in this hole. So basically what happened is the acid and the water and everything just kind of sat right there in that little trough, and I don't want that to happen again. So what I am doing now, or what I've done, is I have beat the smithereens out of all this, and I made a little relief cut right here, because this right here was actually scooped as well all the way up to like right here or somewhere, and then I guess it kind of drained off right in that little indentation. Was kind of like a little valley for it to run off. So I've made it like a little valley, or I have beat the valley out of it, this section. Just got put under a tornado warning. trying to be a little bit smarter with this build than I was with the Volvo. I went to Harbor Freight and I bought a bunch of these bins right here, and basically I haven't gotten them all sorted out how I want them yet, but see, like I have this, I have some hardware right here. So like these right here are the door strike bolts. There's some more right here, but they're all, you know, Torx bit. I think they're T40s, and all of these screws and bolts and stuff in here are all Torx. So I'm just putting all the Torx ones together from the interior. So that's basically how that's happening. Then I'm putting like all of the 8mm nuts together, all the 10mm nuts together, and then that way, hopefully, when I go to put this thing back together, everything will be relatively, hopefully, semi-easy to find again. Like this is a fender bolt, 10mm. There's all the other fender bolts in there painted white. So little plastic clips. Yeah, so good bit of stuff. This one is a number 2 Phillips. So I got a bin for number 2 Phillips. Well, boys and girls, we got the interior all prepped and ready for some nice black spray stuff. We're gonna spray some stuff. What I'm using here, this is SEM primer, self-etching primer, gray. So we're gonna spray this in just a few spots here, because I've got a few open edges. I got some raw metal here that I need to take care of. There's some right there. That's some raw metal I need to take care of. There, right there, all around that needs to be taken care of. But this one, you can see the difference. So this is primed right here. This is primed from the factory. That right there, I sanded over, right? So obviously where I've sanded through that primer is where I'm putting this acid etch primer. So that way everything sticks like it should and gives rust protection and all the good stuff, you know. I'm not really worried about rust down here where I live, but you know, who knows? If I were to ever sell this thing, which I don't plan on it, but if I were to sell it, you know, someone that moved up north, I wouldn't want it to rust. So, you know, just trying to take extra precautions here and make sure that I'm doing my due diligence to keep this thing from rusting. Alright, now I'm going to mix up a little black base coat and kind of trim this out a little bit where I don't want the where the Raptorliner is not going to go, kind of in the little crevices and stuff that's not going to get covered. So just kind of up the sides a little bit. Don't care about the doors right now. I'll jam all that later, but right now, anything that the Raptorliner is not going to cover, which is basically anything that's not the floor, needs to be black. So let's make it black. So we're going to mix it up real quick. Got a little shuffle on black right there. My Spectrum HT gun and disposable reservoir, etc. So let's get it done. Now that the interior is looking really good, excellent, as you can see here, we've got it pretty much good to go. I need to shoot some clear coat over this before it cures, but it is the very next morning. It was only about 6-8 hours ago, so we'll get this clear coated, probably get it cleared in today. But in the meantime, or for right this second, what I need to work on is this fender right here. I kind of did a hack job on this. I was thinking, you know, I'll just throw a piece in here, weld it in here, no big deal. But you can see that I cut my piece just slightly bit short. Idiots. All right, boys and girls, this repair is done. So see, I got a brand spanking new plate there. This is looking pretty good right here now. You can see my patch right there. It looks a lot better now that I got it primed out. But everything is looking fantastic. So now I just got to get the seam sealer put on. Here's the seam sealer I'm going to use. I love this stuff right here, this super fast 3M plastic tab repair stuff. Man, that stuff is the bomb, man. It freaking, look at that. Work time 20 seconds, clamp time 1 minute, sand time 5 minutes, paint time 30 minutes, cure time 1 hour. In 1 hour, that is completely freaking cured, almost impossible to sand. It's crazy. So the same kind of tube, I think these are the 200 milliliter. This is 08308 heavy body seam sealer in black, and this is what we're going to use. So it comes with these special little tips right here. Plus I got a couple bags of them. I kind of pick up a bag about every time I buy one of these tubes, which is probably, I don't know, once a quarter or so. I'll buy, like, you know, a tube of this stuff, then I'll buy, like, you know, every now and then I'll get this stuff. Now you can buy this stuff, but it takes forever to dry. But there is a seam sealer that comes in a caulk tube, so you don't have to get this like $50 gun right here. It'll take a regular caulk gun. But personally, I just like this 2-part stuff. Plus, it dries a whole lot faster. I mean, you got 6 minutes of work time. Paint in 15 minutes, cures in an hour. So, you know, that's pretty quick. So, I mean, I can throw some base coat on this basically about 15 minutes if I wanted to. I don't know if I can get that far, but, you know, we'll try, because I want to jam out the door jams, the inside of the doors, and the hatch, and the engine bay. I want to spray all that base coat, clear coat all at the same time. So, I don't know, we'll see. So, let's get to it.